Good day all, welcome to Obed Farm. Well, they say that we all want to farm, and how do you transition from being a person who's doing a job to farming? When is the right time to quit? The right time to quit has got at least, let's say, 5 steps that we should look at before anyone decides that they want to quit their current job that they're doing, because it involves a lot of things that you need to be able to take care of. And at that point in time, let's say that you have decided that you want to quit. Before you quit your job or your current thing, whatever you're doing at the present moment, and say, I want to go farm, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have got enough savings. Why you need a lot of savings is because there is going to be a lot of money that you're going to need, and in the first year or the second year, most likely whatever venture that you're doing is not going to be profitable. So what are you going to be doing in this first year? The first thing that you're doing before you even quit is making sure that you have enough money to make sure that when you quit your job, it can cover you for at least a year. What are we saying? That at least a year? Plus, I can say a year to 2 years. Reasons being, because whatever you're going to be doing needs money. And the amount of money that you need is that you will need to be able to take care of yourself, your family, whatever you've been able to do when you had the job, you need to be able to do it when you don't have the job. This means that you have enough money to buy your food, do anything that you want to do, especially your food, and to make sure if you've got kids, their needs are always well taken care of. This is very important, because if you do not have that kind of capital or that amount of money within the first few days, you will find that you will end up quitting farming and then you'll be saying, why did I quit my job? But if you have enough money to actually say to yourself, for 1 year or 2 years, I am going to be working on my project whilst I've got enough money to take care of my everyday needs, then you can then say to yourself, let me go and start farming. But that is one thing. The next major thing that you will need to understand, or you need to look at, is, so live within your basics. What we're saying here is, try as much as possible to reduce your costs before you leave your job. Learn to reduce your costs. Why we're saying that, if you have got a TV or you've got so many subscriptions that you're doing, start canceling those subscriptions, especially if they're not bringing you any value. If they're bringing you value, then keep them. If they're bringing you revenue, keep those revenue streams coming through. But if they have not been providing you for any revenue, start removing those things. If you guys are used to probably eating 2 loaves of bread a day, reduce to 1 loaf of bread a day. Your partner also, or your family members, need to understand what you're doing is you're trying to reduce all these things so that you can be able to go and do this homesteading, or let's say farming, from basics that you need. Because if your partner is also not in it and is not really for it, you're going to find very much difficulties. If they're used to a certain lifestyle and all of a sudden you're going to change that lifestyle, then they are going to struggle, or your family is going to struggle. So it's best that you first do it together before you leave your job, because at that point in time, you are both learning each other, and you're also learning that, can you live without this thing? Can you live without this thing? Have you now been able to reduce your costs? And the minute you start learning to reducing your costs, that is what is then going to be, after about 2-3 months down the line, where you find that you're now stable with that program. It will then show you how much money you will need to save for the next 2 years or 1 year that you're going to be saving for, as pocket money that you will need for your day-to-day survival. This is excluding the amount of money you are saving for your project. During this time, as you are doing all these things, you are also making sure that you are getting ready. You're doing your project, as in both you working at the same time, you not being there. Reasons being is that you need that money to be able to go, when you go into it, you have already got a structure whereby you're not starting off from scratch. Because starting off from scratch will make you so difficult, because that amount of money that you have saved, you will start touching it. And this is something that we do not want you to do. Focus on 1 or 2 to 3 revenue streams within your business, but make sure that you learn and you master at least 2. Why I'm saying that at least you master 2 is because if you master 2, it gives you a fallback between, if one thing fails, the other will actually take. That is why we say I enjoy doing mixed farming, because when I do that, it's because I am spreading my risk. But as a person who wants to do this, now that you're homesteading 24/7 and you're staying at home and you're farming at home, you now need to make sure that you are now focused on 2 things. The 2 or 3 things that you focus on are the things that you love and you know, and the things that you will learn, and the ones that you will be putting a lot of time and effort into. Reasons why you're looking at these 2 things is because you need them to be providing for you a steady revenue within a short space of time. This could be chickens. That's why I say broilers. Broilers are always the easiest thing to do, but you need to know that you've got to find a market for them before you even start doing that. By the time you go and you're doing homesteading and you're probably doing 5,000 a month, then it means that you have got a market for them to go to. Secondly, if you're doing, let's say, goats or sheep, you know that when they've reached a certain age and the size that they need to, you know where they're going to for a market. That is very important, because if you do that, then you've set your sight on 2 projects, whereby if one is not doing well, the other one will compensate and will give you revenue. As I said, in your first year, you will be making losses, because either there will be a lot of things that will be happening that you do not understand, and at the same time there will be certain things that you will not be yet knowledgeable about, which you will be learning like anyone who's learning. And when you're learning, it will be taking you time to learn, but by the time you are finished that learning process in the second year, you have now moved on to the next stage. Another thing that you're going to have to be able to do is be a great marketer. Why I say being a great marketer is because now you need to take the thing from farm to fork. And the minute you do that is removing the middleman, because if you remove the middleman, you have now at a very good advantage, and that advantage means that you're going to be getting the same prices as a person who is buying it directly from the shop. So that is your whole point about your business plan. You need to be, one, in this marketing point where you are in, you are looking at being, one, a vet yourself, so that you can cut down on the cost of veterinary services. 2, you will need to be an agronomist once in a while to cut down on agronomist charges. 3, you will need to be able to make sure that you understand the market and you're able to talk to people, create platforms to sell your product on. That is going to be another thing that you need to be able to. And very much you're going to be able to have to speak to people, making sure that if you need to learn how to butcher whatever you're butchering, you're going to butcher it yourself, so that you do not incur the additional cost of going to the butcher. All these things are going to be what is going to lead you to being whatever you're going to do in your marketing endeavors and in your farming endeavors that you have decided to do in your homesteading environment. The 5th and final thing is, as I will always say, when you see something going wrong, stop, quickly listen to yourself, evaluate, and readjust. Because if you do not do those things, you are going to start hemorrhaging money. And when you're hemorrhaging money, you're going to get to a point whereby you're going to get stressed with this thing, and you're going to get to a point whereby you're going to be saying to yourself, I left my farming, I left my job, I should quit and go back. Now you're quitting farming and you're decided to go back into a main street employment. So these are the things that I say that are very important when you start all this farming endeavor. 1, please do not give up, because once you've started this, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle not everyone can do, but it's something that once in a while you should learn, just to say to yourself, can you do it? If you can't, farming is not meant for everyone. When is the best time to start? There's never a best time to start. Any minute you can start. I've started it. I did not say that on 2020 whatever I'm going to start. No, I just started, and then I said, whatever I'm going to face, I'm going to face it as it is. And this is my journey. This is the journey that you have seen me on. This has been the journey of sometimes great things, sometimes bad things. But as I said, I've never said to myself, I'm quitting. Yes, there are times I really feel like I want to quit, and I say, this is, especially, I don't want to lie to you, especially this year. This year has probably drawn me to the limits of wanting to quit. But the things that then just, I end up saying that I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, but I end up seeing myself back in the farm actually doing it. Well, I hope I've helped those person who wants to start off and think that they want to do when they want to leave farming, leave their 9 to 5 job to come and do farming completely. Thank you very much for liking. Thank you very much for subscribing. Until next time, thank you and have a good day.